All right. So there are two kinds of people in this world. Ones who podcast with shoes on and ones who podcast without shoes on.
I didn't know I knew where you were going with that, but this is true.
So anyway, today we have a interesting topic. I'm still not really sure on like the overall concept. It's kind of just like a
Let it flow.
yeah.
Let it flow.
So Gina and I have been super busy, lots going on. Not necessarily the busy like workload, but busy in the sense of like I've overcommitted myself to a lot of things and I don't want to let anyone down or myself down. We're both really bad at that.
Yeah.
So in the midst of us both feeling like that, we've both committed to doing 2 events together in April. So today, because of that, we wanted to come on here and kind of talk about the events that we're doing and almost like do a live recording of like us planning and us talking about the events. So do you want to go ahead and explain it?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I kind of live in events right now, like all the time, because the restaurant's not open. It's pop up here, this going on there, da 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 da. And sometimes you come and help me with those, and then you do shows every once in a while, and I go help you with that.
It's our off season. So.
Yeah, but shows aren't happening right now, and I'm doing this event with High Water Brewing, which is basically a lowrider fest, which is cars and they do food and live music. And the brewer was like, "Oh my gosh, isn't your like best friend like super into cars and all that stuff?" And I'm like, "Yeah, she is. She's super into cars." And so he's like, she want to be part of the event? And so I was like, I have no idea, but let's find out. And it kind of segued into yes, she'll be part of that event, but also, why don't we just do our own event there?
So yes, because in the automotive worlds, it's one world, but they're divided into like car categories. So they're doing a lowrider event, which is a very specific type of car. So like the people that like lowriders don't necessarily like American Muscle. They don't necessarily like JDM
do you
cars.
know it, like, because I am not a car person, and there might be people who are out there that aren't. So tell me first off what your kind of car yours is, what your world is, and then tell me like what other worlds there are.
So I definitely say and then I can even go like super specific with it. I have a Japanese car, so we call it the JDM, Japanese Domestic Market. So that would be anything like Toyotas, Honda, Nissan. I have a Mitsubishi, Subaru, all those. Like, so generally those are like the JDM community, and that's like my community. However, very often you'll see like the newer American muscles like Mustangs and Camaros and stuff alongside of them at shows and meets. Not a big deal. And sometimes you'll see older cars or classics, which is amazing. And I think as much as like I would love for all the worlds to come together and like just formulate one big car meet, it just isn't like that. The things that interest like the older crowd it's not usually the same.
So is it kind of like, I mean, I can just compare it to food, where you've got your different cultures of food and you've got your different styles of dining and restaurants where it's all food and everybody loves food. But
Here's
separate.
Here's a perfect example. I have my Mitsubishi and my Nissan, which are my Japanese cars, and then I have an Audi. And my Audi is also modified. That's more of my daily driver. However, the Japanese aftermarket world compared to the European aftermarket world, they're still so like vastly different in their styles. That's not to say we don't come together and appreciate both, because I definitely do. But they're different. And so a lot of the times you'll see like a JDM meet, or you'll see like a Euro meet, or
in this case a lowrider fest.
Yeah. And so so I feel like for me, I think this was like a fun, if this was going to be a huge event, I would hate to be like, I would hate to call it like a JDM event, because I feel like that's like you're secluding people.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do that. I want it to be inclusive. I want people to feel like they can come or participate. But since it is a smaller meet that we're doing, I'm definitely going to invite the people I know with like really cool iconic Japanese cars, just because I want that to be the highlight of the event. And then of course I hope everyone that's into different kinds still comes or still parks alongside of the event, just to kind of show us what you got.
Yeah, I mean, and so, we're kind of going back and forth between two things, but first we've got the lowrider event.
Yes.
And that, are you going to bring a couple people to as well?
Yeah, for the lowrider event, it was more so like bring my business and bring my car. I hate being like the only Japanese car at like an event, like where I just stand out like a sore thumb. But it's also fun. Like we were gonna do that this summer. So
I mean, I know the crowd just because I did them already, and they're gonna love you. I mean, they're just such a. I feel like comparatively, because I've been to a lot of meets with you, this lowrider meet that I do, they're rambunctious, they are fun, they're like very energetic, like the energy there, and it's very family oriented, which I realize is just a huge difference, because whenever I go to events with you, I don't feel like there's that big like family vibe there. It's really much more like friends and like
I
chill.
think because my community of people is a little bit younger. Not to say there isn't like people my age with kids or a little bit. I mean, you could be a JDM enthusiast and be 70 years old. One of my closest friends is like a dad, and his son's 19.
He's like
and
a dad.
He's so cool. I'm like, your car's cool. He's like, is it? I'm like, yeah. You're like probably one of the oldest guys here, but it's amazing. Like I love that. But anyway, yes, it is like a totally different crowd. So I'm excited. My car does pretty good with kids. Like they see it's this lime green car and they're like, cool, let me look at it. And I like talking to people who know nothing about my car, and then they're like, what is this? How'd you do this? What is it for? What's the purpose? And I'm like, here you go. Like,
yeah. Well, I also think that your business is going to be really cool for them, because I think that they have a very limited amount of merch in that category, like lowrider. Like when I saw them, they were so much more into the food and all this stuff, but it wasn't like a lot of people selling shirts or anything.
Yeah.
Which I feel like whenever I go to a JD, I mean, I guess it's not JDM, but the car meets that we go to, it's nothing like the food's an afterthought, the music's an afterthought. It's merch.
It's a lot of businesses.
It's crazy to see how different those are. But I think it's been really good for us to do both, like see what they do and then do ours.
Well, and the other like side of it is like I like doing events outside of what's normal in my community, because in my community it's like very repetitive. People just copy each other and they just like recycle ideas, and it gets really old. So I like to go out to other events and get inspiration from what other communities are doing. And then, for me, I'm like, my business is, I want it to be way more about mental health. Passion is what drives all of us, regardless of what specific niche you're into. So for me, it's like, it's a good place to get my brand out there, my message out there, target a new audience, and get ideas. And so for me, it's fun. I love doing events, even if it's like a food event. I see the way people set up their tents. I'm
it's
like,
fun.
This is cool.
Food events are super cool, because everyone does. But then also you see the people who do the same stuff as everybody, and you're like, but it's the few diamonds that like stand out. You're like, oh my gosh, what they're doing is so cool.
Or even if just the way they like made their menu or designed their thing, I'm just like, that's so cool.
Yes. I mean, what other events have you kind of drawn inspiration from in your time of like doing events and being a part of these?
Last year I did I forget what it was called. It was kind of like a yoga, meditation, entrepreneur, like healthy. I don't even know. It was at a winery. It was really cool.
Oh, I know. Jelly.
I think
Didn't get an invite.
I think I did invite you. No. It was last minute. Anyway, it was like $20.
Her sister. I'm just kidding. Love you, Morgan.
It was like $20. You brought your yoga mat. You sat on this big open field. There was a yoga instructor. You're doing this meditation, this yoga. It was super nice. And then after, all the food was really healthy, and it was like they had juice, and it was really nice.
Juice.
So my favorite part was there was like an alleyway of like vendors selling their like whatever different things, like clothing, crystals, healing, makeup, whatever. And it was all women. And I think it was just super inspirational, because I'm like, women are so detailed when it comes to their events, their booths and their setups.
Especially when they're going to an event with a bunch of other women. Yeah. Like they're going to bring their A game. They're going to push each other. I felt
like I was like walking into stores. Like, so.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was really cool. And I got to talk to a lot of other female entrepreneurs, and it reminded me that like my audience is so different. Like I always try to target like car people and car dudes, and I'm like, I'm just gonna say this, I love women. I really want to push my business in a way that like focuses more on targeting women and focuses more on getting men to be more open
And more
and
vulnerable.
honest and vulnerable with mental health. I think so. That's my goal, is like my designs and my styling to target more women, but also at the same time, men being like, "Ooh, this is cool. I'll rock it. I don't mind if it." You know,
I mean, I would say that 90% of your like market right now is probably men, right?
oh, like 95, yeah.
So you almost need to diversify to get more women reach, right?
Yeah.
Which is such a weird thing to do, because it's not even like you're going to find women to sell to. You're going to find more people to get eyes on your product, to get their viewpoints, to get their vantage points, to understand like what they're doing in their businesses. It's less about like, how do we sell our product to women, and more about how do we empower women with our product.
Yes, like it's more so the emotional connection that you can have with your audience versus like, I don't want to sell you on anything. Like, I don't need you to buy it. I want you to like see the message and be like, hell yeah, I want to help you spread that message.
Yes.
And I feel like I go to so many events that are just male dominated that I don't really get the opportunity.
I can't imagine.
So anyway, let's start talking about, let's see, what do we want to talk about? Maybe the why, like why are we doing this event? I mentioned we're both super busy, so why are we taking on another event that isn't necessarily like, we're not doing it for the money.
Yeah, well, I mean, when we look at the why is really from the what to what is the event. I don't think we've done Cars and Creators, which for those of you that don't know was a massive, in my opinion, event where we basically took car show mixed with an entrepreneurial showcase and blended the two. So there was food, there was activities. I mean, we pulled out the stops. Giant beer pong, fire dancers, a race car track, like for many like car race cars. I mean, like videos, a live podcast, live massages. I mean, raffles, car show, reward. I mean,
It was amazing.
My God, like it was really one of the coolest things I've ever done, and it was probably the coolest event. Like, granted, I wish more people showed up, but like, holy shit,
we did a lot. If we had a bigger audience, I think that's the bad part about that event too, is like, I feel like if we had more people come to it, we would have wanted to do more events.
Yeah.
Because it was just so fun, so interactive. That was our goal.
It was the coolest event. Like it was tough because we put so much energy into creating it. I felt like we did less energy into marketing it. But marketing's hard, and there wasn't as many tools as there was then that there are now.
Yeah.
Like now you Instagram ad, boom, and you're like marketed to triple the amount. Then we were walking around the night before putting flyers on people's cars
in their houses.
and their houses. I mean, it's just so different than what we would do now. But like, I look at that event, and we took so much time. It took so much money. And so now with this event, I want to do something similar, show all the things that we can do, but like be more mindful of our time and our money, and show that we can still put on an event that's better than a lot of the events out there. But just be mindful. And so that's kind of like my why. And I'm also just excited to show my stuff and get to know people.
I think also now, I mean, that was 2019. So now flash forward for almost 4 years, like we are so much more like niche on what we're doing. And so it's, instead of being like, we could do all these things and we're going to prove it, it's more just like, hey, these are the things we're already doing. And I think my why, like why we're doing this event specifically together, is because we found a way to make our businesses work in a cohesive way. Your food is Japanese inspired, Mexican inspired. And so my cars being Japanese inspired, the brewery offering to do like maybe a Japanese beer or just something that is cohesive with us. It's like, it's just a really exciting concept for us. And I feel like for our personality traits, we're not really ones to be like, no, sounds like too much work. We're good. We're much...
I can't imagine.
No.
I'm like, I don't know.
We'd rather like cry the night before, like just being like, it's not going to work. And then like challenge ourselves to make it happen in like 4 hours. But I think it'll be, like you said, it'll be easier than our last event. We're not going to put as much time and energy and money into it. We're not expecting to make money off of it.
Well, and the biggest one is the event. We're going to make it free. Anyone can show up. They don't even have to buy beer or food. You know, I think making it inclusive, I always go back and forth about what I want to do. And it's like, well, if we charge, then we know how many people are coming, and it's like, it's not just to make money. It's like, you just get a better understanding of your event when you have a count of people who are coming. So when you make something free and open to the public, it makes it a little scarier because you're like, I have no idea who's coming. Mm-hmm. But I think it makes it a lot more inclusive, and it gives us a lot more of a baseline of like, look, this is not necessarily to make money. This is to like put ourselves out there in a cohesive way and make it really fun. And
I think too, for me, like our last event was in LA, and so like since moving up here, we haven't done an event together, and I really haven't done that many events at all up here for my own business. So like bringing together the community where I grew up in and seeing like meeting new people and immersing myself in my own community, I think that's a big step that I haven't taken yet, and it feels silly. Like, every time I get an order through my business and it's like, like it says their name and their address and I'll be like, Sacramento, California. I always write them a little note and I'm like, hey, like we're from Sac. Thank you for supporting a local business.
Yeah.
Like I love it. And usually they'll reach out like via Instagram and be like, that's so cool. I didn't know you're from Sac. Like that's amazing. And so building on that like community vibe.
Yeah. The fact that people don't know you're in Sacramento right now is crazy. I mean, that should be.
It's just a difference. Like my business is online,
Yeah,
so it's
true.
kind of like.
I know, because if someone was like, restaurants in Sac, I'd be like, yes. Well, okay. So like, let's kind of talk about the event. What is important? What do you want people to see when they first get there? I mean, obviously we're going to do cars parked in the front, food, but what else? What other elements would you like to have on the event?
So I guess like this is literally like we're just talking about this for the first time. We haven't really dove into this conversation yet, but for me, I think if we're talking more specifically about like the JDM, first of all, the name of our event that we're doing after the Lowrider event, we're doing our event April 22nd from 2 to 6 p.m. It is called Slice of Japan, right? Slice of Japan Cars and Cuisine
sure,
or something like that. Like
I'm like, now I don't know.
Slice of Japan, JDM Car Meat and Cuisine.
It's Slice of Japan, JDM Car Meat and Cuisine.
Cool.
Cute.
And craft beer if you just want to throw that in there. But so basically that's our event. We wanted to do an event where we brought, food with obviously a Japanese inspiration, Japanese fusion, and then obviously the Japanese cars. So for Gina, it's really important for her to kind of reach like this audience of people and maybe not necessarily make food that you make all the time, but maybe try something new, a little bit fusion, catered to like a wider audience.
Yeah, I mean, I've nailed finding my oyster seafood crowd. Yeah, nailed it. They know where I am. They know there's not a lot of me out there, and it's been it's almost an easy slam dunk. Now I don't want to just segregate every single person who doesn't like an oyster, and so I think that this is an interesting challenge, and it's stuff that we need to have in the restaurant. Like, okay, let's test out some of these more and I hate the word pedestrian, but stuff that, if you're a really big fan of my restaurant and you want to come eat there, maybe you love oysters or whatever, and your friend's in town, but they don't like seafood, I don't want it to be like, oh, we can't go there. You know what I mean? There has to be something there for everybody. So this is a really exciting challenge for me to practice some of those dishes that I've kind of haven't completely tried out yet, and it's just a good in person as opposed to doing R&D by myself, doing it in real time, getting feedback, meeting people, seeing if they like the food. And I mean, I've seen car shows where there is a 3-hour wait for tacos.
Oh, you stood in that line.
I know.
So
I know they like food.
Yeah. So I guess for Gina, it's more like her challenge for this event is finding that balance between like the seafood that her comfort zone, the oysters and the food she normally makes, and then challenging herself to find food that will cater to a larger audience.
Yeah, because like musubis, ramen, rice bowls. I mean, there's so much stuff I can do that's really
Rice
fun.
bowls would sell out. I'm just letting you know. Like, I think
I know.
if you went the other way with the Japanese Mexican fusion, I tell you this all the time.
I know.
But if you were like teriyaki chicken burritos, like, you know what I mean? I'm like, you should just try something crazy.
I'm gonna write that down. Should I
Try-
do teriyaki chicken burritos?
You guys should give us ideas. If you have any ideas on like Japanese Mexican fusion foods that we should try at this event, I just want her to
Yes.
try it because I'm like, that would kick. And so I don't know.
Teriyaki. That's like, I mean, it's not a bad idea.
I mean, it'd be hard. Like, how do you make like chicken teriyaki on the fly? Like, it would be a lot of work, but
We can figure it out.
yeah.
I can do it. That's what it is. It's a challenge. It's putting yourself. And if I just did the same events all the time, where I'm just like, okay, I'm doing oyster ceviche and this, then you're not challenging yourself. So this is it's super fun. It's super creative. And I think that the food's going to be a huge piece. And we also have to make it. So let's say, how many people do you think we're going to get to this? We just
So,
don't even know.
I was gonna say we should definitely try to put this on Eventbrite. And, I mean,
good idea.
Not try, but we should, and we
Put it on
should.
Eventbrite.
But that makes it hard too because we're like, we don't know. And if you're the only food vendor, like, you're gonna get swamped.
Dude, I'm going to put together 2 tents for Lowrider. I'm going to personally, there's only one food vendor and I'm both of them, but I'm going to have 2 different tents. One is just going to be micheladas and oysters. And the other one is going to be like other food. So we'll see how that goes. We might have to do something similar.
I
Because
think
it's a lot. I mean, it depends how many people come. If 50 people come,
that's what makes it hard. Events are hard because it's like at our event in 2019, we had like 4 vendors or something, and it was like there wasn't enough people attending to make it worth it for everybody.
the one thing that we did that was really smart in that event for the food vendors was every car got a free food ticket. And so it sucked because we paid for a ton of food, but at least ensured that the vendors got food, because a lot of people at those events bring their own food and snack. And we're like, we want to make sure that the vendors are getting, paid to be here. So that was really smart that we did that, because
Yeah.
if not, they wouldn't have made very much money.
Yeah. Okay, so we talked about your challenge and your challenge being the food. My challenge for the event is I really want to create a new design for the event, for the Lowrider event, and then bring it over to the next event. And I want that design to, same thing, kind of reach be like more, less JDM, less specific, more like mental health, meshing with cars in a universal way. And I feel like that's always been a challenge for me. So I definitely...
So what's the timeline on something like that? Because for me, it's like, okay, I got to get the menu basically done a week before and make the food. But for you to get this design done, to get it ready for the event, like what is your timeline looking for that?
Well, if we're doing clothing, it usually takes about 2 to 3 weeks to have it printed. So 2 to 3 weeks to have it printed. I have to give the designer at least like 2 3 weeks to have it designed. So it's definitely going to be tight. And I think the hardest part is always conceptualizing it. So sitting down with myself and thinking of what I want. I do like 90% of the conceptualization and then hand it over to the designer and say, hey, this is my concept. Here's my inspiration. Here's the colors I want. Here's the style I want. Put it together. And like the next 10% is his like freedom to like make it better or whatever. But still, like I'm working with a new designer on this project, so I'm kind of like, I don't know, does he take a long time? Like, well, am I gonna like it? So it's definitely a big challenge, but it doesn't scare me. I think it's kind of like that imposter syndrome. As soon as I start designing something, I'm like, I don't know if I'm talented enough to be doing this. Like, I should just hire someone else to do everything. But no, I'm gonna do it.
I mean,
I'm going to have it ready. I'm going to have shirts ready, and I'm really excited.
that's going to be super awesome. I mean, I just love that. I mean, I want to wear one during the event. But I just think that's really cool. I mean, even like I was just unpacking a box, and it's going to sound so ridiculous, but I literally was just unpacking a box from Spokane, and I found like our extra Cars and Creator shirts and stickers. And I'm like,
You should have brought them.
I have them. I brought
Did
them.
you?
Yeah,
Oh,
I got them. So if you want to buy a vintage Cars and Creators shirt and sticker pack, $150 a piece. DM us. They are vintage, never to be made again in 2019. Thank you.
I don't even have one of those shirts.
Yeah, I've got 2 of them.
Give you one.
Yeah, it's so funny. But
I have hella of the stickers out. We went all out on that event. That was so
I
fun.
know. It's just but the fact is we broke even is impressive. Considering how much we got. Fire dancers. If you okay, we should link. We're gonna link the YouTube of the basically like the after movie.
Yeah, our friend Matt made it. It's so good.
The after movie's so good, and it ends with fire. And I'm just
And thank God we didn't pay for that video because we would have been in debt like $3,000. Yes. Thank you, Matt. Shout out Matt. The Parchin on Instagram at TheParchen. I almost said
so. It's gonna be a meet, but is there gonna be any for the event? Do you want to do any kind of like
fire dancers?
Yeah, I've got a contact, but any kind of like it's not going to be like a car show, so it's not going to be like a winner. It's just going to be
like I know the lowrider event is like more of a car show, and they're going to do a competition with trophies and everything. But personally, I'm not really a fan of the competitive environment. I feel like I want people to show up and just wherever your car is at, whatever phase it's in, show up, be a part of the community. I don't want it to be a competition. The only reason I go to car shows is to participate as a business owner.
Yeah.
I like bringing my car, but I don't like competing against people. I don't want to know that like someone else is better than me, or I made someone else feel like I was better than them. Like I just show up. No, not everyone has money to build their car, or put thousands of dollars into it to make it something special or worthy of a trophy. Like it doesn't matter about a trophy. So in my opinion, what my plan is for the cars is to invite people I know that have classic JDM cars that are really like, when I say classic, I mean like iconic. They've been in movies, they've been around a long time. And if they exist in Sacramento or surrounding areas and they're very clean, I want to showcase those builds and just teach people about cars. Like if I want them to walk down this aisle of like variety of JDM cars and they're like, what is that? I've never seen it. Yeah, you've never seen it because it's super rare, or it just became legal in California or in America this year or last year. Like that's like the import laws for cars. A lot of the like iconic JDM cars, they're just now legal. So I think it'd be really cool to highlight those cars that are rare.
Yeah.
And highlight, really, really clean builds, or people who have unique builds.
Now, when you say highlight, because I'm super interested, I'm not even in a car. I'm like, oh, there's some that were illegal. Like, like I don't know. I know about as much as she knows about chefs.
Gordon Ramsay.
But like, so when you're saying like you want to highlight it, what's a way to highlight it? Just put it center in front? Is this a handout? Like, is there a speech? Is there like what, like, how does one come to this event and learn?
Yes, I guess, I'm open to ideas on that, but I think the main thing when I say highlight is put them in front row and center and line them up in a way that's like, usually when people go to car meets or car shows, they'll like group together with their friends. So it'll be like 6 Honda Civics and 6 BRZs and whatever. It's like, I don't really want that. I want to showcase the variety. I want to pick the people who have the unique builds, the clean builds, the rare builds, and put them in a way that's like, you're going to go down this line and be like, I've never seen any of these cars before.
So logistics wise, that little space in front, depending on how you stack them, can fit about 20 cars. So
maybe that's what we'll do.
So the rest, like the street, you can fit tons of cars. I mean, but it's just a street. I think you could probably fit like 85 to 100 on the street, just regular parking style, because we're not going to block off the street or anything. But that spot, 20. So are you basically going to try and like curate those like 20 cars and like,
we might have to block the street off because you're saying 85 is going to fit on that street, but there's no way they're going to fit on that street without blocking it off.
No. There's like 85 parking spots, just like parking spots.
Like parallel to the road?
Yep. Parking spots right around that entire block. And so the way that the car show did it, because there's a parking lot here, and then street parking. So the way that the lowrider did it last year, which is how I imagine we're going to do it, is they didn't block off the street. They only showcased about 25, 30 cars. Then those were the people who were entered to be in the car show. And then a ton of people just showed up and parked around. So it was like cars everywhere, but it wasn't officially closed off. Now this year, the Lowrider Fest is way bigger. So they're closing off the cars and they already are sold out of car entries. So they have 110 car entries that are paid to be into the show. And so that's why they're blocking off the show, the like So it depends on how you want to do it.
Because now they're not going to park parallel. They're going to park like. Okay.
They're going to park. Yeah, they're not parking parallel. They're parking in the street. Like they're doing it like
Got it.
car show. Where I think with ours, if it's going to be smaller and we don't want to pay for the permitting to park the street off, then we just do the 25 that you pick, and then people are welcome to bring their cars. And there's literally, he showed us on the map, there's like a dirt parking lot to the left and then a dirt parking lot to the right. So that's just something to think about.
Yeah. No, I like that. That works. Okay. So I feel like another challenge for both of us, it's always a challenge, especially if we're going to be busy, but it's like taking this event and getting content, creating content from it.
Because that's awesome. Content's literally the best thing, and I love it, and I'm horrible at it, and I hate doing it because I suck at it, but I need it.
I think what I'm going to do is
hate
it. Let's just fly Matt back up here.
Yes.
Have him film it all, and then give me the SD card, and when I have time, I'll edit it. That way it's like, I don't need to pay him to edit it, even though he'd do an amazing job. It's just like, come here, film stuff, get the B-roll, get the drone shot, and then give it to me.
After we're done filming this podcast, we need to link up and figure out when Matt's coming.
Yes.
That's literally after we're done
Matthew,
with
we
this.
will be calling you shortly.
Yes.
I think he's snowboarding.
Well, we don't have to call him. We can just text him.
Yeah.
Okay, so that I feel like I have a good idea of what's going to happen in the event. I mean, I think that the biggest thing is, like if we start marketing the end of this month, the place is going to be packed. So we have to plan for that.
See, and now I have imposter syndrome about planning an event. I'm like, what if we put an ad out and it's like, come to our event, and then they come and they're like, this is it. There's 25 cars and one food vendor. You know what I mean? That's my mind works like that, and it just like tells me that I'm not doing enough.
I mean, but they're not paying to come.
No. But what if they're driving all the way from Roseville and they're coming down to Sac and they're like, this is lame. I don't know. See, it's dangerous. My mind. Then that's where the fire dancers come in. I'm like,
but like, I mean, that is always going to be an opera. I mean, I can't tell you how many car meets I went with you where I'm like, this is fucking lame. And it doesn't mean whoever put it on didn't work really hard, or like it's, it doesn't discount any of their work they did. But yeah, I thought the event was lame.
But then I think like, okay, so you said the lowrider event, they're coming back harder like this year. So that means the first one was a success. And so my fear is like this first one we do, Slice of Japan, is going to be, what if it's a failure? And then we try to do a Slice of Japan 2 and it sucks. And no one comes because they're like, last year sucked. I have fear.
Well, okay. Here's a quick solution to that, because that's not necessarily a bad thing to fear. It's like, how do we know? We're going to be busy planning our things, and then we're going to ask our friends if they liked the event. Of course they're going to say they liked it. Well, let's put people on the ground that aren't us that actually take note of how the event did. Yeah. Well, and if the event did good and we want to do it again, let's fucking do it again. Bigger and better. But okay, so I thought about this too, because lowrider event's coming up. And I'm like, okay, last time it was huge. I'm going to buy triple the amount of food. Well, what if half the people come? What if it's not bigger? What if that many people don't come and that was just a fluke that one time was giant? Then I just wasted a bunch of money on oysters. And I have 2 tents and staff. I mean, it's like, yeah, that's definitely a risk.
Yeah.
And there's no bottom line or happiness that I can end with. It just sucks. It's a risk. But did I have fun doing it? Probably not.
I'm so glad we're doing this. I'm so excited. Honestly, I'm thinking we just get giant beer pong again. And that way, at the end of the day, we just drink beer.
I'll call the fire dancers. But that's the fun thing is like, it's a brewery. Well, okay, actually, fucking fresh. We gotta get music.
Ooh.
But I don't want a shit ass DJ, dude. I don't. No offense to all the fucking car meets. It's just like Drake, Rihanna. Then all of a sudden a wet t-shirt contest. And it's just like the fucking worst.
I know. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, what other ideas can we do to like entice people or keep people there?
They have Jenga. They have Jenga. They have cornhole. There's gonna be beer. There's gonna be cars. There's gonna be food.
That's true. It's like going to a brewery.
I think the biggest thing is music. And I think like doing cool music would be really cool. We just gotta figure out who. I didn't even think about the music until right now.
Remember our car wash we did? The music. That was slapping. That was
Who
fun.
did that? Whoever did it was like so over aggressive. It was crazy.
I just remember being like, this is a shit show.
Oh my. Okay. So, but that was so cool. Would I do it
It
again?
was.
No. Did we make as much money as wanted? No. But did we fucking throw the craziest, funniest, awesome fucking. Okay. We're going to link the video for the car wash
Is there
too.
a video for that?
You haven't seen the video for the.
I don't know. It's been a long time.
Okay, I'm sorry. This is really important. I will hopefully maybe we can do like it'll show the video while I'm showing you the video thing because it is fucking hilarious. You
So
haven't seen this?
I'll explain the event we did. We threw a car wash fundraiser. I think what were we raising money for?
for cars and creators.
Okay, we were raising money for our car show. And so we put on a car wash. We are like, hey, come to your car wash. We hired some sexy ladies. They were washing the cars. We were sponsored by a car care company. So they sent us all the like detailing stuff. And we had vendors and Gina had her lemonade and like all this stuff. And like, it was at this like comic book store outside of a comic book store. It was just so random. And it was so fun. And I just remember being so stressed out. There was not enough like team members to help people or guide people. And like,
Oh, it was just like
the car washing was a like disaster.
It was just I mean, well, that's the other thing. We didn't think like, all right, we have a bunch of like hot chicks, but it's like they're not necessarily qualified to wash cars well. And we had a dunk tank.
Oh, we had a dunk tank.
Remember when I hit the car?
Yes, and then Gina hit a car. I remember all this. It was quite the day.
What? And, okay, I can't even fuck. I can't even find this.
I don't even remember the
Okay,
video.
The video is awesome. I will send it to you because it's so freaking cool. But I mean, like that's a perfect example of events because how ridiculous and pointless. But like a dunk tank, how much money did we spend on that?
I don't know. I think at least like $300.
Like we had a dunk tank at the toy store.
No, remember it was like I still have a shirt that says like get Evo Maddie wet or something. And it was like $100, but if you dunked me, it was $100. So you donated $100, and then you got the shirt. Remember?
Oh my god! I mean,
I didn't get in the dunk tank though.
but nobody paid $100 to get in the dunk
I don't
tank.
think so. I don't remember. I definitely didn't get in it. No.
You didn't get in the dunk tank?
No.
I fucking missed and hit a car.
Just like reliving memories. Dude, we should do events more often. We should just do
Exactly.
random things.
Because like, imagine if we got a dunk tank at this event.
That'd be hilarious.
It's just like,
Why?
why? But let's fucking do it. I don't know. I'm gonna find this video and send it to you, and you're gonna watch it. But it's just like,
We should challenge ourselves with events more often. Like you do events all the time, but I feel like we should do events.
no, my events are lame.
No, I think your events are fun. I just feel like we need to bring back like our elements of fun. The random.
So cool. So cool.
I wish
that
people-
event was so fucking cool.
All of our events are really cool. We go over the top.
I mean,
and then
even
no
like-
one appreciates.
Even
it.
like the time I did the lemonade stand, we had like music, and I set out a table so people could play chess. So ridiculous, but awesome.
it was fun. I think we know how to party. We haven't really found our audience to appreciate us. I think that's what it is.
Okay, well, this is our time to shine. So I think what I've kind of discovered is like, you don't know what's about to come to this event. We don't know what's about to come to the event. Could be a dunk tank.
Could be a bounce house.
Could be
That's what I'm saying. Keep your options open.
or like one of those, the ones that like knock you off.
With the wipeout things. That'd be hilarious. Pie eating contest.
Hot dog eating contest. I could totally do like a hot dog. No. What are we doing? All I'm saying is like the possibilities are endless. Insane.
So
Bottom line, August. What day is it?
August, April.
Shit. So overwhelmed. April,
we're doing an event. You guys should come out. April 1st, we're doing our lowrider event. So if you're into the lowriders, if you just want to come out and support. It'll be April 1st, 2 to 6, something like that. And then our event, Slice of Japan, April 22nd, 1 to 5 p.m.
yes,
We will be doing all of the things that we don't know, that we haven't planned yet, but they will be things will be done.
There's gonna be so much stuff done. That's all I know.
The funny thing is, like, we're not gonna market any of it, and we're just gonna be like, come out, come get food and beer and cars, and then there's gonna be so much more.
And then people are gonna show up and be like, oh shit,
It's a party.
fire dancers. We gotta figure out the music. I think that's
Yeah. At least music. At least a cool DJ. Come dance with us. Come party with us.
Silent disco.
Oh, silent disco.
There's a lot of things. So, even, April 1st, maybe there's an app for our event. Different stages. Watch this blow up. We're like, we're just doing a humble car meet, not spending money.
This is our problem. We overthink everything and we push ourselves too much.
Yeah. Well, I hope that you guys feel less alone if you also think like this, because it's okay. Great things come from it. Dunk machines, half naked ladies washing cars poorly.
Mm-hmm. We never learn from our lessons.
Lemonade.
Why don't we wrap it up and talk about our Nest moments of the week?
Yes.
I feel like I really struggled finding my Nest moment, surprisingly. I feel like all my Nest moments were very like minuscule. So like, why don't you go ahead and share yours?
Ooh, I had such a doozy of a Nest moment this week. So, for my business, we are applying for our liquor license, which is way more paperwork than you think it would need to be. And every single party that is like in your family or your spouse has to fill out personal affidavits. So my mother, who doesn't live anywhere near us, she's literally in Arkansas, but was in Alabama like a week ago, needs to fill one out. And it took so long to get this paper filled out, and I got it filled out. And then finally, it needs to be notarized and I need to send it in by the end of the week. Well, I called her and said, look, Mom, I'm going to send you these really important documents and I'm going to give you $100. I just need you to go get them notarized and then send them back. The $100 should cover it. I really appreciate you. So she was like, cool, do it. So I'm literally running in between work, meetings, all these things I'm doing. I have like 5 minutes to spare. So I run into FedEx. I know I've got to get it sent. There's a card with a $100 bill on it and all these documents. I put it in the envelope. I hand it to them. Oh, what a huge relief. It is done. I'm literally racing in traffic trying to get to my meeting that starts at 5 p.m. So horrible 5 p.m. traffic. And I get a phone call. And I don't know, something in my gut was just like, you need to answer this phone. And I answered it. It was a guy. And he's like, hi, I work in FedEx. So we were processing your paperwork to like send and it went off in our scanner. Is there a $100 bill in here? And I'm like, what? And he's like, it's illegal to send cash. It is illegal. You can't do it. I'm like, what about birthday cards? And he's like, well, it's illegal. It's just like the $100 have like tractors that send off our system. And I'm like, what? And he's like, so in order for us to mail this, you have to come back and collect this $100 bill. I'm like, can you just take the $100 bill out and mail it? And he's like, no, I'm sorry. We cannot do that. You have to gotta come take it out yourself. I'm like, please. And he's like, I'm like, just keep the $100 bill. It needs to go out. And he's like, I'm sorry. You have to turn around. So I have to turn around in 5 o'clock traffic to go take this $100 bill. I don't have a check. I send it, and it just was like, first off, it shows me I should not plan my day with 1 minute to spare in between each thing, because if one little thing goes wrong, everything's a nightmare. But also it's just like, what a fucking mess. Disaster.
Yes, what a moment. And I didn't even know about it till today. And that's the problem. That's the funniest part about our Nest moments is like, they're so crazy and they make you so emotional. And then like, once it happens, it's like, we're just so busy. You can't think about it again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm definitely over it. I'm on to the next Nest.
I'd say I didn't really have a Nest moment, but I had a little bit of a manic moment and I really like craved change. And I was like, I got to do something for myself that is change. And so I tried to dye my hair lavender and it worked out. I don't know. It's cute. It's cute or whatever.
It doesn't look that purple.
Because I like kind of diluted it with conditioner because I didn't want it to be purple. I wanted it to be lavender, but I feel like, I don't know.
It's so lightly purple. It looks gray.
Yeah. I like
cool.
Gray. Yeah. I like the gray, silvery purple.
It looks great. And you know what? Anytime a girl messes with her hair, they're going through something. So Good for you for putting that out there.
So you're all aware. That's literally me. Every time I'm going through something and I need like immediate change, I'm like, I'm going to change the color of my hair. It'll make me feel good. Actually, I might even do it when I go home. I want to like cut my little fringe bangs and then dye the pieces purple, like dark purple.
Do you have dark purple?
Yeah. I have a plethora of colors.
I was gonna say I need a redye.
Oh yeah, we gotta do your hair too.
She's copying me. She loves my hairstyle.
The purple is my new color. Lavender.
Purple is my color. It's been my
Lavender
color.
is my color.
All right, fine.
You can have dark purple, whatever.
Okay.
The
I
fuchsia.
just want everyone to know out there that purple has always been my color
is.
my entire life. So if she pops on this purple, she's been lime green, I've been purple, but I do understand that lime green hair is not that cool.
Oh, I mean, it is. It's just like I already did it. So.
You did?
I had lime green. You don't remember my lime green hair era? Remember it was half green, half blonde? Are you
Like when we were
serious?
younger?
No, this was like 2020. You don't remember
I don't think we were
my-
friends. Were we not friends
We
during
might
that?
not have been friends.
I think that was what caused you to dye your hair. Is probably we stopped being friends. You're like,
Our friendship was just like, I have to do something.
gotta change.
I can't believe you don't remember that though.
Can we also link a picture of your hair being half green in the show notes?
Yes.
Let's see.
Might take me a second to scroll that far, but
I don't even really believe you.
and then it was
Because how would you recover from that?
oh
That's
I
why.
turned it into
Oh,
red.
sorry. Oh no, we were definitely not friends during this time.
Papa's face.
'Cause
it went from lime green bangs with the blonde hair to like half lime
Oh
green.
yeah, no.
You don't even remember looking at that picture?
I've seen that picture, but I've never seen it in person. Because you went straight from that to
That it half,
which I didn't even see that.
that's so
I never
crazy.
even barely saw you with that color hair.
And then I went straight to like red.
I barely saw you with that color hair. Gosh, you change your hair color a lot.
I'm telling you, I go through a lot.
The fact your hair is still on your head and still healthy is crazy. Because then now all of a sudden you're blonde. The fuck? That's insane. I barely look at my hair the wrong way. It falls out.
Oh, it's fallen out, but here we are.
Shit. Well, anyway, I hope we've given you some confidence to get out there and either dye your hair or throw an event.
Or just attend an event. You never know. You might do something cool with it.
Yeah, or dye your hair at an event.
That's new.
Why
I
not?
haven't done that. Or get a tattoo. Have you seen that TikTok where it's like girls don't want chocolates and flowers for Valentine's Day? They want
They
a
want
tattoos.
tattoo.
I'm like,
That would be a great gift.
that's what I'm saying.
Message Donald.
Hello.
Just kidding. No,
All right. We'll catch you. Did you just make out with your mic?
I accidentally.
On that note, till next week, guys. Bye.
Bye.